All right, awesome. Well, here we go. Thank you, Annie Harmon, thank you, Annie Harmon, for coming to the Dear Business Coach podcast today. How are you?
I'm doing very well, and thank you for inviting me. I really am looking forward to our talk.
Yeah, me too. I think I've been following you for about a year now. So I have seen your profile on LinkedIn, and that's what I know the most. That's where I'm getting the most information about you from. And I think that I was pleasantly surprised when we talked before about, some of the things that you want to highlight that you're interested in, that you're working on now. And Annie, I have your profile, but I'd like to ask you, how do you introduce yourself?
I introduce myself by saying I help women CEOs regain happiness in their business by helping them gain clients in 12 weeks or less using my aligned uh, bit profile, my aligned performance blueprint.
Well, now what is the blueprint and how did you develop that?
The blueprint is a sequence of topics that leads a CEO from branding all the way through to the sales conversation so that they feel confident and um, are able to enroll clients easily. And I do that by showing them how to do it, and then I let them practice with me, and then we go through their videos at the end so that they see uh, exactly where they could have made changes in the conversation,
Hmm.
and they enroll clients in the 12 weeks.
Wow. Now, did you personally design this feedback setup that you're describing? How did you um yeah, I guess feedback is the right word, right? When you work with a client in that stage where we're looking for what's working, what's not working, and how to explore that. To hear you say that you're going to work with me if I'm the client and go back and look at conversations that either converted or didn't convert to bringing someone on as a client. Is that what you're saying that we would do together too? Hey, listeners, don't forget to subscribe to email if you haven't already. Do this at dearbusinesscoachpodcast.com. And if you are a new subscriber, look for the magazine coming up. You can get a free download as a new subscriber. That's dearbusinesscoachpodcast.com. Thanks so much, and I hope you're having a fantastic day. Remember, you are a superstar.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. The whole idea is I perfected the process so that you can have repeatability in getting clients.
Yeah. So, what do you think is maybe a common thread as far as when someone has a conversation, when I have a conversation with a potential customer, and then it doesn't exactly go the way I thought it was going to go, or I thought I did a good job, and then that person doesn't sign up or do business with me, and that's really hard to think about by yourself. I've definitely done that a lot, where I'm sitting here by myself thinking, what did I do wrong? Or was there anything that I did right? So that's hard to navigate by yourself. Is that maybe, like, why did
Yeah,
you create this process?
mostly to help women see that they are doing things right, that they don't have to step back, that they can lean into the process and be a leader and lead the potential customer through the process and handle the objections that you commonly get, like, I don't have time, it's cost too much money, I have to ask a spouse um, those type of questions we handle during the process so that when they get to the end and they hear the price, they aren't shocked. They aren't feeling like it's salesy, and they are comfortable and confident that they'll get the sale. And we do that by noticing body cues. Like the whole idea behind the call is to build trust and build a relationship. So you spend quite a bit of time right up front building that relationship with a potential customer so that you can gain trust and ease their mind through the conversation. And there's specific steps that you go through leading them through the conversation so that they come out the other side as a client.
Wow. Now, what is your background? How did you get into developing this system?
My background is in IT. I've been a manager of IT departments for 35 years, and I retired, and retirement didn't agree with me, and I started the consulting business. I started up in the wellness and weight loss arena, and then I switched to performance coaching and then to business coaching when I found the courses that I took left holes in the processes. And since I'm a really good process person from the IT department that I had my background in, I was able to develop processes that are easy to follow and repeatable and help the customer gain new clients.
Mm. Wow, so you kind of you have a your brain just works like that. It sounds like you are able to see. I imagine what does your whiteboard in your brain look like? What does Annie's whiteboard look like? It's probably 3D and probably probably like I can only imagine. So that's fascinating too. I love to listen to people like yourself who think about processes and another word that I sometimes use is systems. How, and how do I build a system around my process? And that would be maybe one of my questions for you. How do I look at my process, for improvement? And I guess sometimes, or a lot of the time, one of the best ways to do that is to have a coach and to have somebody actually point out things that maybe I couldn't see about myself, and what am I doing with my body language? Am I building trust? Am I building rapport at the beginning of the call with someone? Maybe I don't know. Is there something I
Right.
can look for, right away?
Um, the best thing to look for is their comfortableness. Um, they will lean into the camera, they will smile more, they will um, start talking about their lives in addition to business. So
Hmm.
you'll pick up a lot about a person, if they're talking about missing out on their grandson's birthday and because they had to work because they're working so many hours in order to get new clients. Um, that you can pick up on and say, well, um, you don't want to miss another birthday. That's why a business coach is good for you because I can help you streamline your processes so that you have that time in your schedule to spend with the people that matter the most.
Yeah. Well, and you're right. And those are the underlying things that hopefully, when I'm asking for help to solve a problem, the other person is paying attention to those cues too. So I certainly hope that the person who
Right.
I'm talking to, who's a consultant, can do that. Yeah, I think that also your clients or your customers will will appreciate that about you too, right? It's not simply um, like a tactic or something. You want to talk to people and listen to with them when they tell you, I need to get to my grandson's birthday.
Right, exactly. You want to be very cordial, warming, but authoritative. You don't want to come across as a friend. You still want to maintain the leadership role in the conversation, but you do want to be cordial.
Mm. Okay, well, that's actually well, so I don't want to continue to ask you to give me free coaching on a broadcast here because that wouldn't be fair. I need to go and sign up with you. So before I ask you my next question, what is your preferred way for people to contact you?
The best way to contact me is through my website. It's Annie, S as in Sam, Harmon.com. So it's ANNIE, S as in Sam, HARMON.com.
Thank you. Okay, awesome. Yeah, and I see your profile picture, and there's a lovely logo here. It says Elite Business Architect Annie Harmon, your business architect from vision to reality, your blueprint for a profitable, scalable coaching business. The CEO of Empower Life Changes. Annie offers expert coaching for coaches leveraging 30 years of C-level experience. Her unique approach combines business growth with core values alignment to help coaches become successful with guaranteed results. And this is really, one of the things that I wanted to ask you about, I'm not sure if we're going off track here, but you had told me a story a little bit about having to develop some tools and your website for yourself and how you've been through a couple of challenges on your own developing some of these processes for yourself. And I think you ran into a little bit of a roadblock or some questions when you were looking for help in your business. Do you want to share some of that experience?
Sure. Um, I grew up in technology that was the PC, and I did mainframes, I did coding, but I didn't do the intricate setup of a website before. And I decided, after having a terrible experience with a company who said they could deliver a beautiful website, not deliver what I asked for.
Mm.
And so I had a website, but it didn't match what I was offering. And so it was a waste of a lot of money um, to do. And so I decided that the best way to handle that was through developing one myself. So I had to learn the technology. I had to copyright the words that went into the website and then implement it. And it took me 6 weeks. And I know it would have taken longer if I didn't have some knowledge of technology prior to doing it. But it was really a fun experience. And it was, now I have the ability to go in and change things on the fly, which I really enjoy because websites get out of date so fast and quickly that you have to maintain them as you change and shift to current needs of the marketplace.
Wow. Okay. So like what would be an example of like right now I can book on your website and that's something that I expect. For example, for the most part, I would like to be able to go to your website and see a way to contact you or a way to book here. What are some other examples, maybe of something that uh, you needed to stand out that you put on your website yourself because you recognize that?
I recognized that I wanted to be able to have, people that I really am comfortable and trust on my website. I have a listing of coaches that I trust. I have a listing of other software packages that I recommend. And I have freebies on there too to help other coaches in their business. I have a freebie for launching your business and a freebie on reflecting on your hidden talent.
Oh wow. Yeah, I do see that. Okay, well that is pretty cool. I would be I like the it's interactive. Sorry, looking at your website now. So for folks who are listening and aren't on YouTube, this is the buttons on here. I know this sounds funny to point out, but I it's the first thing I noticed is that the button is moving, it's bouncing a little bit, and that tells me I can use that button and I can click on it. That's actually hugely helpful. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I thank you. You know, you actually bring up a really good point is that and I kind of asked you this already, but so someone tried to help you design a website. You're ready to put out an offer, you're ready to put out a message, you're ready to talk to people, and then you looked at your website that you had paid to have designed, and you said, oh no, this actually isn't what I was asking for. um, so how did you have time to do this and develop and work on your actual coaching offer at the same time, or was it not like that? Did you separate these two offerings?
I did that by time blocking and breaking the project down into chunks so that um, I could get it accomplished. Like I'd spend 2 hours on the website development a day, then I'd spend 2 hours on marketing and an hour on client work, and then 4 hours on talking to a client, talking to different clients. And that's the way I accomplish it. I also have a project management background, so that I'm able to see the big picture and how to break it down so that it is manageable and
Mhm.
get it accomplished. I use a 6 week block for all my work and break goals down into 6 week blocks. And that's the way I teach it to my clients so that they can get more accomplished in a year than they would have if they used the quarterly or um 12-week block.
Okay, well that listen up, folks. That was a secret that you just shared. That's important, secret and proprietary information. So you have a project management background. So this is something for you to be able to see, or that you have professionally learned through your practice. As there's uh, an art and a skill to the way that you put your literally put your projects together and on paper and in front of you.
Right. It's called a CEO schedule so that you can step into your leadership role.
Wow. Now, you know what's interesting is that you have moved through several different roles in your life, right? So you have you mentioned an IT background that you spent so many years in, and then you said you think that I think you said you moved into a performance coaching role. What kind of role was that?
That's where you become the best version of yourself. And that is looking inside and seeing what things you'd like to change in your life over time and mapping out a course to accomplish those things, just like you do with your business. Is you want to be healthy, you want to be on top of your game, and to do that you need the performance piece, and you want to be continually learning because the market changes so fast, and that's a piece of the performance.
You are, wow. Yeah. Well, now how do you keep up with that? It sounds exhausting.
It's it's a it's not really exhausting if you are really enjoying the process, and that's part of what you need to learn is to enjoy your business and enjoy learning and changing and growing in all the areas of your life, your personal, your um, value as your person yourself, your family, the business, um, any other relationships you want to keep well oiled and working.
Mhm.
You have to take into all that information and then map out your life so that you can accomplish everything that you want. I mean, it is a give and take, and it takes skill and knowledge, but as a skill, it is learned. So it's not something you have to go into business wondering, oh, am I going to be able to juggle all these hats? Because you
Mm.
learn it and there's a process to learn on how to do the performance.
Yeah, that's fascinating. I have a couple of books on my shelf related to performance, and I used to be interested, or I should say, uh, more active in, say, uh, theater and filmmaking. That was, maybe that for some folks would make sense, watching this as a podcast production, right? And making a little video is satisfying to me in some way on that level. And so I think about performance too in terms of sales, like what is the, oops, excuse me. So like what is the reward schedule, and how do you maintain your energy levels and things like that. So for example, one of my favorite books has to do with uh actually a symphony, right? How does a symphony prepare and think about their performance? If you're a performance artist in terms of playing an instrument as part of a symphony. And so I think, um thinking about performances like that, literally, you have a couple of hours before, you have a couple of hours during the time when you're engaging the audience, and then there's time afterwards that for you as the individual might mean recuperating or just getting ready for the next performance the next day. And so these little steps each day can build up to, how do I be the best person that I can be on a sales call or on a podcast interview with you, which takes practice. So I'm trying to figure that out myself. And so I look at you and I think that you have all of this professional background and professional training in how to put a project together and break down a bigger project into smaller steps. And so it's interesting to me that you've said that your time period is 12 weeks with your coaching, and that and then I hear you mention that you yourself are familiar with or like to use a 6-week plan for certain goals or many goals. And so that sounds like maybe something you also are going to teach me as well in your coaching is, how to think about your processes and your goals together. Does that kind of happen as well when
Yes,
we talk?
yes, because you can't accomplish everything that you need to accomplish in your life without setting up some kind of goal and some kind of vision and um, breaking it down into bite-sized pieces so that you can accomplish them and feel good about yourself at the same time.
Right. So we can accomplish a couple of things and give ourselves a check mark that we did something, towards the goal, and that feels good. I mean,
Right.
that works too for adults and children. Yeah.
Yes. Um, And the reward part of it is important. Um, when you accomplish those 6-week blocks, you celebrate by getting yourself a piece of jewelry or going out on the town with your girlfriends or going out to dinner with your spouse or your kids. You know, there's so many ways to celebrate that you've accomplished something. And that is important to keep your motivation high.
Yeah. Really, really important things to remember. Well, and also I see here, and again, what we're looking at, what I'm looking at right now is AnnieSHarmon.com. And that's AnniesHarmon.com. And you're right, Annie, you have made it really easy for me to find freebies and how to work with you. There's media, podcasts, articles, products and services, and about. And so, of course, I see here what you mentioned earlier, the coach directory. So I've heard you say too that on your services, on you have services on your website. There's also, as you said, other resources, and it sounds like you have said that you have looked at these, or these are people that you are happy to say you've vetted or do recommend to folks. So when I go to your site, I can also find all kinds of resources that I know you have checked out for me.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Well,
I
that's
think that
cool.
I think it's important to help each other. And part of that helping is getting to know other coaches. And even if they're in the same uh, arena as you are or same stage of life, they can be of benefit to others because everyone says things differently, and you've got to find the coach that resonates with you.
Yes, you do. That is exactly why. Uh, that is exactly why. Yeah, it's so helpful and important to have these conversations and share your voice. That's exactly right. I do that a lot with reading, or at least I used to. Right, as I would read something or something about the same topic on this from several different authors, just to get whose words do I resonate with and whose perspective might I latch on to. So getting matched with a coach or a guide is as personal as picking out like what your diet is, I guess.
Right, or your favorite colors.
Well, that's and that too. And so it can also be, it is we're supposed to be having fun, right? It sounds like you would.
Exactly, exactly.
Well, I always appreciate that because it is easy to get down the road of we're here to talk about how we can help each other and solve each other's problems, if you will, and yet remembering that we're supposed to be enjoying ourselves is hard to remember sometimes.
Yes, it is, but it's important.
So tell me about your background. I guess, I maybe because, and I know it's time to go. I have kept you a minute past. So let me say again, AnnieSHarmon.com, and check out book here and free gifts so that you can get time with Annie. And also look out for Annie's magazine article in the Dear Business Coach podcast when that article will be in the next quarterly release. And so, Annie, what about the sunflowers? You said sunflowers are your favorite.
Yes, I have visited a farm that has acres and acres of sunflowers. And when I saw that and took pictures, I really enjoy sunflowers. They brighten up your day. Their heads always look towards the sun, and they are just bright and shiny. And I like bright flowers like that. And that's why I put them in my background because they're my favorites.
Yeah, beautiful. Okay, well, I thank you so much for coming to the show today, Annie, and I appreciate your time. Hope we get to talk again really soon.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your time.
Thanks. Talk to you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Welcome to Dear Business Coach, the podcast. My name's Elizabeth. Find one thing to move your business forward today with conversations, spotlights, interviews, articles, and free resources. Listen and follow and subscribe on social media. Dear Business Coach pages and groups. Dear Business Coach podcast. We're on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube, and don't forget Spotify, Apple, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, anywhere you listen to podcasts. All it takes sometimes is one little thing to move your business forward today.